Welcome, 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 Hattiesburg, and a pleasant day to all our listeners. This is Abby, your host for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement today, we have Mississippi Moments with Marshall Golden and a news wrap with Kaylin Fox Thomas to ensure you're up to date on all the hottest topics. And guess what? We have a very special guest for you today, Kayla Johnson. You definitely want to stay tuned for what she has to share with us today. But before we jump into all the fun, here's a quick message from our sponsors. So hang tight. We'll be right back with more Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Are you in a hurry? Well, I am. But as a paralyzed veteran, I had to overcome incredible challenges just to regain my independence and return to work. Finding a parking space shouldn't be one of them. Illegally parking in spaces reserved for people with disabilities is not only wrong, it's against the law. So please, think twice before pulling into a reserved parking spot. Even if it's just for a minute, it's 60 seconds too long. This has been a public service announcement from United Spinal Association.
Welcome back. In campus news, 2 students from the University of Southern Mississippi's College of Arts and Sciences have been selected as the Institute's first ever Beckman Scholars, and the first in the state, earning a place in one of the most prestigious undergraduate research programs in the STEM disciplines, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Sophomore Ash Davis, a polymer science and engineering major from Ocean Springs, and junior Noah Williamson from Hattiesburg, a double major in biological sciences and geography, will participate in the 15-month mentored research experience supported by the Arnold and Mabel Beckman Foundation. The program prepares exceptional undergraduate students in chemistry, biochemistry, biological sciences, polymer sciences, or interdisciplinary fields for graduate studies and careers in scientific research. Southern Miss is the first university in Mississippi to receive a Beckman Scholars Program grant and only one of 14 selected nationwide. The grant is administered through the USM Honors College. Also in campus news, the University of Southern Mississippi and the Gulf Coast Business Council have entered into a strategic partnership to launch the Executive Leadership Academy, an education initiative designed to foster transformation leadership across the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The partnership was formalized through a memorandum of understanding signed April 24th at the GCBC's monthly membership meeting. This collaborative effort makes a significant milestone in strengthening professional development and leadership capacity for the region's current and emerging business leaders. The Executive Leadership Academy will be housed at the Southern Miss Golf Park campus in Long Beach and will feature comprehensive curriculum delivered over a 9-month period. Designed by the university's executive education program, the ELA will include at least 60 hours of face-to-face instruction held by highly qualified faculty and industry experts. In Hattiesburg news, Hattiesburg Mayor Toby Barker announced that the recently retired Hattiesburg High School head football coach Tony Vance will serve as the Grand Marshal for the 2025 Parade of Champions. The parade will be held on May 5th to honor academic, athletic, and extracurricular achievements of students from across the Hattiesburg schools and universities during 2024-2025 school year. Since taking over as head coach at Hattiesburg High in 2013, Vance led the Tigers to 2 South State championships, 4 region titles, 3 undefeated regular seasons, and playoff experiences of 11 of his 12 seasons. His leadership has earned him Pine Belt Sports Coach of the Year honors 3 times in 2017, 2022, and 2024. The parade will begin at Sacred Heart High School's north entrance, travel down West Pine Street, turn right onto Front Street and left onto Main Street, ending at the Hattiesburg Community Arts Center at the corner of Main and Jackson Streets. Road closures along the parade route will begin around 5 p.m. when the parade sets to roll at 5:30 p.m. In Mississippi news, the National Institute for Early Education's Research 2024 State of Preschool Yearbook report released on Tuesday finds that Mississippi now ranks 31st in the nation for preschool enrollment of 4-year-olds. Mississippi is up from 35th in last year's report. According to the report, Mississippi also remains one of the only 5 states in the country to keep in all 10 of NIEER's recommended benchmarks for preschool quality. Benchmarks measure essential preschool quality indicators including teacher qualifications, class sizes, early learning standards, and program assessments. Mississippi served 20% of its 4-year-olds in state-funded pre-K in 2023-2024. The state's pre-K program does not serve 3-year-olds. However, when including enrollment in Head Start and other types of pre-K programs, officials said the total percentage of Mississippi 4-year-olds enrolled in pre-K last school year was 61%. That's an increase from 52% the previous year. Providing a quality education for our state's youngest children is essential to academic achievement, said Dr. Lance Evans, State Superintendent of Education. Mississippi continues to be a national leader in this area, and we are thankful for the state's financial commitment to ensuring the success continues. That's your news update from Southern Miss Today. We'll be back with the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back with our action-packed sports segment. Let's dive into the latest scores, highlights, and sports. Get your jerseys on because it's game time. Tomorrow, Thursday, May 1st, the softball team will be playing against Louisiana. On Friday, May 2nd, the baseball team will be playing against Arkansas State. Next Monday, May 5th, the women's golf team will be playing at the NCAA Norman Regional. Next Tuesday, May 6th, the softball team will be at the Sun Belt Conference. Next Thursday, May 8th, the track and field will be at the Sun Belt Championship. And next Friday, May 9th, the baseball team will be playing against Louisiana. Head to southernmiss.com to keep up with all the Golden Eagles sports activities. As for weather today, look for a low of 67 with a low chance of rain and a high of 87. The feels like for today is 69 to 86 degrees. Tomorrow, look for a low of 68 and a high of 85 with a low chance of rain. Tomorrow's feels like is 69 to 84 degrees. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage, with Marshall Bolden on how painting helped make new friends. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. As a portrait painter, Marshall Bolden was required to sell his services like any other professional. However, he maintains it was always about making new friends and not money.
I think a lot of people like to say, well, oh boy, he just paints for money. But people really don't understand, see, if I didn't get any money for these things, I'd still be painting, and I'd still be painting portraits. I love my work. Therefore, my work really isn't work. But I have to go out to get portraits. I realize that people won't come to me, so I go out to them. A work of art is just like a high-class bale of hay. It's got to be sold. I mean, somebody's got to swap you some money for it. So I do have to go and travel, and then I have to go out to start the portraits. And I go back on a sketch approval trip, and I take a delivery portrait back to them. And it's just great. When you paint a portrait for somebody, they open up to you, and you get to know them very well. And they become your great friends. So by the time you visit with them for 3 trips, you feel very close to them. And man, I have more bosom friends over this country just because of this thing. So it's great.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People, World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People, World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Kayla Johnson after a quick break.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Regresando a la escuela, sí tenía miedo, porque yo tenía pensamientos que no sabía si iba a poder hacerlo.
A los 47 años, Marco obtuvo su high school diploma.
Nunca es muy tarde para obtenerlo.
Nadie obtiene un diploma solo. Si estás pensando en obtener tu high school diploma, puedes recibir ayuda. Encuentra clases gratis para adultos cerca de ti en completatudiploma.org. Repito, completatudiploma.org. Presentado por la Dollar General Literacy Foundation y el Ad Council.
Now, please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Kayla. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Could you introduce yourself and what you're here to talk about today, please?
Yeah, so my name is Kayla Johnson. I'm the coordinator of healthcare marketing and administrative communications here on campus at the Moffitt Health Center. I'm here today just to talk a little bit about what we do, services that we offer for students and the USM community as a whole, and answer any questions that y'all might know about, from the student population, and just kind of be a resource today.
Awesome. Could you describe your role and responsibilities at Moffitt a little in detail for anyone that
Sure.
may be wondering?
So it's funny. I do a little bit of everything except for clinical things. So I'm not going to be the one that's giving the shots. I'm not going to be doing the diagnostic things. But kind of behind the scenes, administrative type activities. Marketing, of course, includes coming to talk to you guys, doing orientations, just getting out in front of students to talk about our services. And then, any day of the week, there could be a tech issue that I'm trying to troubleshoot as well. So really just, if they need something done there, I'll do my best to do it. But you're not going to see me on the clinical side doing any of those things.
How long have you been working there?
So this coming August will make 10 years there full time. Went to school here, have 2 degrees from Southern Miss, and was very fortunate to roll into a full-time position while still obtaining my master's. And so coming up on 10 years, I love it. It's been a great place to work, great place to learn, and really just being able to give back to a community that gave so much to me as a student here. There's nothing that compares to it.
Of course. Are there any changes that you have noticed over time, whether it's like within the Moffitt Center or like among students health-wise, question mark?
So I feel like COVID changed the landscape of healthcare a lot just in general. I know it has shaped some of the things we do in terms of how we practice in ways that have been beneficial for students, of course. But, when we're interacting with students, say at orientations and things like that, we're often with their parents as well. We're interacting with them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're in this location." I was like, "Well, actually, we've moved into a newer location." So students nowadays don't realize that we were in a much smaller facility prior to our current location in the first floor of Scott Hall, and so being where we are now, it's very much more like a doctor's office feel. We've got our pharmacy, that shares space right there within our lobby. And so it just has a lot more of a doctor office feel without the scary parts, right? We don't want to ever have a student feel too intimidated to come see us. And so a lot of times, our goal is, of course, keep students healthy, keep them well, because that's essential to succeeding in the classroom. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not feeling well, you're going to have a hard time going to class, completing assignments, and doing the educational, academic demands of college. And so, of course, we're here for that, but we also want to be a resource for students in that a lot of times when students come to see us for the first time, this is the first time without parents or someone who kind of knows healthcare a little more than them. And so we try to take that into consideration and help them learn, what is insurance? What is your insurance card? How does insurance work? Just so that they have by the time they graduate, right, they've got some sort of prior knowledge to how healthcare works outside of our walls. Now we do allow students to charge to their student account, which is a little bit different than, if they were to go off campus. But in terms of making appointments, seeing a provider, talking with a provider about what's going on and feeling comfortable to disclose information, and then getting medication and things like that, it's very much like you would do off campus, or once you graduate, and kind of out in the real world, so to speak. So we don't want it to be intimidating for students. We want them to know that they can come to us, they can trust us, we'll take good care of them. And if they can get their healthcare needs in terms of seeing the doctor as well as the medications that they need right there in one location. So really just, you know, encouraging students to utilize the resources that they've got here, and, you know, the convenience factor of it as well. And just, you know, healthcare does not have to be scary. COVID made healthcare seem scary there for a while, a necessary scary. But that's not the case at all. You know, we're here to take care of folks and make sure that they've got what they need to succeed. So that hopefully, you know, 4 or 5 years down the road, they're graduating, maybe coming back for grad school, launching their careers, and, you know, just being overall supporters of the university in some form or fashion. And so we just have a small piece of that. But, you know, excited to be able to be here every day, Monday through Friday, and provide that opportunity for students.
Awesome. This is not one of my questions. This is, I don't know. I got here like last year. Where was it before? Where was Moffett before?
So prior to 2015, we were actually located in B.D. Emmeline Smith Clinic, which is right next to Kennard, Washington. That is now a vacant building. And so we used to be right there by financial aid, kind of on the more Hardy Street side of campus. But in March of 2015, we moved into our current location, which is first floor of Scott Hall, right there off of 4th Street. So usually students are like, how do we get there? Where are you? I'm like, if you can find the parking garage, we are right there next door to it. And then, you know, also kind of being in the hub of where a lot of students are living on campus with Century Park North and Century Park South. I joke with them. I'm like, hey, we're practically neighbors. You know, you're either walking by us to go to class, or you're right upstairs from us. And so you can't beat that kind of convenience. But still a great option for students who are commuters as well, because you're coming to class, you're coming to campus for class. You know, if you need a refill, why not go ahead and line everything up, take care of all the things in one day.
Is location, like people not knowing where it's at, is that like a big concern for why people don't go?
It's hard to say, really. You know, we will have students that get turned around sometimes. It is on the campus map, so if you know, students do utilize that, whether the paper means or electronic, they can find us. I think overall it's probably a combination of a couple different variables, in that, you know, just not understanding what we do, having a good understanding of what all we can do there. Worrying about the expense, you know, what's the cost going to be, what's the process going to look like. So just, I think more so just the unknown, and really just making sure that students are aware that we're here. That's kind of that first hurdle, is how do we get in front of as many students as possible so that if they do need someone, they know they've got a resource here. Once you get past that, like, okay, well, they're aware of us, now what? That's where some of the other things kind of come into play. But when I started doing our outreach and marketing, I set a goal of, you know, if I interact with a senior, I don't want to hear from that senior that this is the first time they've heard about Moffett Health Center. My goal is to meet them as soon as they get to campus, or as quickly as I can once they are on campus, have that interaction with them so that they're aware of us, because I don't want a student to go 3 or 4 years needing services and just not knowing that we were there for them or could have been there for them. So just kind of I guess a lofty goal of sorts, because there's a lot of students, right? But just ensuring that students know about us, feel comfortable to come to us, you know, feel like we're a good resource for them. And then, you know, using that engagement with them, you know, to make a difference in their lives every day. You know, clinic was a special place for me when I was a student here. And so from someone who truly benefited from the resources there, it's a big deal to have access to that.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's big reason I'm passionate about what I do and getting to talk about the clinic and work there and hopefully make a little bit of difference day in and day out.
Of course. You mentioned outreach, which is actually a perfect segue into my next question.
Mm-hmm.
How does Moffett work with other organizations on campus to promote, like, whether it's like student counseling or
Sure.
like physical, like illness, health?
Sure. So we do have a nurse educator. Her name is Melanie Blanton. She's fantastic. She's actually an LPN by trade, but she also handles our health education. as well. And so throughout the semesters, especially fall and spring semester, she will put together a lot of programming. She'll partner with other organizations on campus as well as some from off campus, based on kind of the topics that we see are kind of hot button topics, sexual health, mental health, stress management, importance of physical activity and things like that. And so she'll plan programs around those topics. And so it may be that we're partnering with Counseling Center to talk about mental health or suicide prevention. It could be that I know she's got some stuff coming up with, I think, Fuel for Finals, where we're going to maybe be helping with that a little bit. And, just encouraging students, hey, you're almost there. You've got this. Stress management tablings. They do a lot of fun things with that. We do one big event in the fall, which is our Fall Wellness Festival. So we'll have that coming up again this year. That'll be in November this year. And we usually have about 30 or so vendors from on campus and off campus that will show up for that. We have fun stuff. We have food. And so really a great opportunity for students to get connected with on-campus health resources as well as what may be available in the community that may not be something that they have right here, but would still be a great resource for them, or a more affordable resource depending on what their needs are. In terms of, mental health specifically, we do work closely with Student Counseling Services, the Center for Behavioral Health, Marriage and Family Therapy Clinic, in terms of, they may have somebody that would benefit from seeing us, that they refer to us, and then we may have someone that we think would benefit from their services. And so it's really just one big collective effort in that aspect to just meet the needs of whatever the students are at that time. So
I do definitely know that at least the wellness festival thing at least it reached me and my roommate, because
that's awesome.
We got there was one thing that I had the free Narcan thing that they would send you. So now me and my roommate have Narcan that we carry with us.
Perfect.
And then another one was about maternal health of Black women, which we actually had Dr. Kim come in. I don't remember her last name, but she's doing medical study on the maternal health of Black women.
Cool.
And I actually was able to know about that before she came in to talk about it, because one of the booths at the wellness fair had talked about it. And also they have fun stuff. It's not just like,
awesome.
It's not just like, hey, come to like this medical thing where you're just like being told all this stuff. Like they had a bunch of things. I can't actually remember, but
we try to have food. We try to have some little fun activities. I know there were some like succulents that one of the groups had. I think that was Student Accessibility Services. One group was painting pumpkins, I think it was. So we try to do some fun things as well, so that it's not just a matter of walking up and talking to somebody at a table.
Yeah.
Let's break the ice. Let's make it fun and inviting. We usually have some music going. And so looking forward to that again this year. You mentioned Narcan. And Melanie, there in our office, actually spearheaded a grant to provide Narcan in all the residence halls, as well as Greek housing and a few other specific locations on campus to where Narcan is readily available right there, where students and really anyone on campus at the time would have access to it if needed. So Melanie did a great job with that. They check it every so often, make sure we don't need to restock, and really just a good effort there. Proud of that work and the difference that will make later down the road.
Are there any improvements that you would like to see to the campus health services?
Oh, man.
You can say not really, or you're not sure.
Well, I'm a firm believer that there's always room for improvement, whether it's, changing a process to make something more efficient, updating a service to reach, a different population. Maybe it is targeting a specific health topic, that we haven't maybe focused on much, but we're seeing more in the clinical setting, right? Doctors are coming back to us saying, hey, we're seeing more of this. Can we do some more education on that? So the minute you stop growing is the minute you start, losing that effectiveness, losing that success that you worked so hard to build. So, we're constantly meeting, constantly having conversations about what we're doing, how we're doing it. Is there a better way to do it? how can we improve our services and meet the needs of the campus community that is constantly growing and changing, and just meeting those students where they are with their healthcare needs, their healthcare understanding. And so it's an ever evolving process and system that we have in place. We will be going through reaccreditation later this year. We've been accredited by AAAHC for quite a while now. I'd be wrong to try to guess a date. But going through that process also helps us maintain those standards, those professional standards, and make sure that we're doing everything we need to do and should be doing to have a good practice and take care of the folks that come through those doors and trust us with their health care. So always room for improvement.
Yeah.
It just depends on the circumstance, what's going on, and that sort of thing. So we do patient satisfaction surveys. We love to hear from our patients and find out hey, if there's something we're doing wrong, let us know. Let us know so we can try to see what we can do to rectify or improve it. And that sort of thing. So, we love the good comments too. Those make us feel good, and much needed encouragement on some of the hard days. But it's also important that we get that other side of it too. Otherwise, we may not know where we need to really step up and make an improvement.
Well, thank you. Hello. We're reaching the end of we are at the end of the interview. Is there anything you would like to just reiterate, or anything that hasn't been mentioned that you would like to say? Anything, you can go for it.
I'll be quick, I promise.
No, you're good. You still have a little time.
We are a full service health clinic in the aspect that students can come in, they can see a medical doctor or a nurse practitioner. We have the capability of doing labs, x-rays, immunizations. We can do allergy shots, some minor little procedures like ingrown toenails, sutures, and things like that. And we do that in-house. We will bill to insurance. So important that if you have health insurance that we get that information from you, preferably that first visit so that you're not hit with any surprise bills. And we do file as a courtesy to the patient. We just can't guarantee exactly what the health insurance will or won't cover. Lots of things that go into that. And one of those things that, as Campus Health Clinic, we try to help students understand. So that's part of that real world knowledge that they gain while they're in school here. A lot of the labs that we're able to do, we perform in-house, which means students get results pretty quick. Same thing with x-rays. Our providers read those, but we also have radiology overread, so we don't miss anything. Students do have the option of getting medications filled on campus, right there in the same facility. But they could also send them off campus. So it's really just up to the patient. But pharmacy is a great resource. It's quick, it's convenient. I am so spoiled because I use them myself, and it's like, hey, this is too good. I don't know what I'm ever gonna do if I have to go somewhere else. So a little bit spoiled there, but really 5 to 10 minutes, you've got your meds and you're out the door. It's amazing. They will also file to insurance. Again, just making sure that we have that information available. So that they can run that through their insurance. And then outside, providers, if a student is already on a medication, say they're seeing a specialist, and they'd like to keep seeing that person, they can still have that medication sent to our pharmacy. So don't have to use our providers to use our pharmacy, don't have to use our pharmacy if you use our providers. So really just putting that power and control, in the student's hand to kind of make those informed medical decisions. We are open year-round, fall, spring, summer semester. I know we're coming up on the end of a semester. I know a lot of folks are probably excited, hoping everybody does well with finals and final papers and such. But we are still open during the summer. So if a student is enrolled or will be coming back in the fall, they still have access to us. So they can come see us. We're open Monday through Friday. Patient hours during the summer are 9 to 12 and 1 to 4:30. So, still here, still available, still a great resource. Come see us. We'll hit the ground running come fall. We'll do wellness bags again for all the residents on campus, each residence hall. Those doors will get some little wellness kits, essentially, with some information to start the fall semester off on the right foot with their health. And really just, want students to know that we're here for them. As long as our doors are open, let us be a resource for you, even if it's just you need to talk to somebody. That's what we're here for.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming in today and talking to me.
Thank y'all.
You've been lovely. Thank you. Coming up, we've got a news wrap with Kaylin Fox-Thomas on the DEI ban and United Campus Workers.
As DEI bans get passed in Mississippi, unions like the United Campus Workers advocate for change. Gavin Wallace, a current union and staff member here at USM, explains how being in it allows him to speak up for larger issues.
So I joined United Campus Workers as a graduate student. This has really been a great outlet for me to work towards bettering something. Working with UCW on this march and this campaign and like all the other campaigns we're working on right now has really been fulfilling for me in the way that it helps me feel active and not feel frozen, and I actually feel like I'm doing something and making a change and having an impact on the world around me.
Union worker and protest organizer Patricia McCourt explains what the union does and how people can become members.
United Campus Workers is a wall-to-wall labor union. By wall-to-wall, we mean that we represent every job class at the university. So in order to join, you can just go to ucwms.org/join. And we have lots of information on our website.
With union chapters nationwide, United Campus Workers advocates for living wages for all workers, including graduate students and non-tenure track professors. Kaylin Fox-Thomas, SMTV.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We're thankful for Carl Wilson, our audio engineer, and Gabby Collier, our film producer, for keeping this bird soaring. And congratulations, Gabby, who is graduating. We especially want to thank our program director, Adeline Fields, our audio producer, Cadence Renfro, and our booker, Dr. Flores, Austin Flores, and our general manager, Dr. Martin, as well as our lovely guest today. That's all for today on Southern Miss Radio. And thank you for listening. Remember,